All right, thank you so much for tuning in. This is a Common Rule podcast, and I am your humble narrator. My name is Danny, and hey, yeah, two podcasts in a row here, right? I'm trying to play catch up and trying to see what just basically trying to post up my episodes, right? Actually, I'm just trying to bug your shit out of you. You got nothing better to do, right? Yeah, well, again, I'm hoping you guys you're doing well again. I know it's only been a couple of days since the last podcast posted, but hey, man, I don't want you to get lonely, But as some of you know, and most unless you've been living under a rock somewhere in the other side of the world, or maybe you're up in outer space. It's some crazy times out there on the streets, man. A lot of cities are there's fire in the streets, and in Phoenix now there's a curfew, and I believe there's curfews in a couple other cities, if not all major cities. I haven't kept up on that. I just know what's happening here. People send me things, and man, it's overwhelming. At least it is on social media. Now, that's not to say I'm not sitting here trying to belittle, what's happening out in the real world, but I'm not going out. I'm staying right here just as I have been for the past fucking 9 months. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to start off the program by saying this little disclaimer here. And it's something that I'm not sure if I've said before, and I apologize if I've fucking unintentionally did this, but this podcast isn't to tell you what to do. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to show you, I'm not here to start a cult. I'm not here to convince you that my way is the only way, or any artist that comes on and talks about their creative process that their way is the way. I'm just trying to more or less paint a portrait of the creative process as I see it, my observations of the creative process, if you will. I mean, in order to inspire and just offer a different point of view into your creative process. Again, I'm not here to convince you about anything. I'm sure shit not here to tell you how to live your fucking life. I'm just here to, at the very least, entertain, at the very best, inspire. And, it's just, if it's a way that you kill time going to work or something like that, hey, awesome. And if that's all you get out of it, and that's great. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you're doing that for me, and at least listening as you got real shit to do, But one of the things that hit me, and one of the things that I jumped on this mic here really quick, is that I got some questions about what's happening now. And you know what? If you guys want to connect and, send me questions, concerns, comments about these questions that I have, hey man, I'm all ears, man. You can do it on the Instagram, you can do it on the Twitter, you can do it through my site and through the email. But here's what I'm kind of on the fence about. Now, and here's the big question that I have here, and it's mostly aimed at social media sort of responsibility, but what's our responsibility as artists during times of peace and during times of unrest? Now, when I asked myself that question, and I did so because of social media, but the two pieces of work that immediately popped into my head are pieces by Picasso called Guernica, and a piece called by Goya, the 5th of May, I believe. I could have that one fucked up. Let me just double check. But these pieces, the one where Goya, where the cat, it's in the Spanish Civil War, where the guy has his arms up in the air. It's a badass painting. The 3rd of May, it's what it's called. And where it clearly depicts war, violence, rebellion, and Guernica, of course, depicts what the atrocities of war, in my opinion. Everybody could have a bunch of different opinions. But those, when I asked myself the question, that's what I came up with as far as Picasso painted a lot of shit, a lot of awesome shit, and while he was basically turning the art world on its head time and time again, he did find a time to get, let's just say, political. Goya as well, where he's painting portraits and painting dreams. He also found the time to paint something that was dear to him. Now, the reason I ask is because while I do have work that has been influenced and inspired by times similar to what we're going through, and some of you know what I'm talking about, and I posted it on my little Twitter timeline and things like that, I certainly don't have a body of work that depicts the atrocities of humanity as we currently see them. I don't have some sort of body of work like Gordon Parks does as far as showing lifestyles and and I definitely don't have a body of work like some sort of National Geographic photographer that goes right into it, or war photographer that gets right in the middle of it and starts to document the atrocities of humanity, or even the beauty of humanity at times. I'm just, just me doing my thing. But what's going on here, though, is maybe your timelines are the same as mine, but they are right now saturated. And I keep using that word a lot, but my timelines on Twitter and Instagram are completely saturated with what's going on in the world today. The riots, the protesting, the looting, the overall the civil unrest, and and it gets to the point where the question is a little different. What should we post on social media? As artists, do we have a responsibility to post the outcry of the injustices that are happening right now continually? Do we have a moral obligation, if you will, to take up our timeline, our social media timeline, and just devote it to the current events? Because I've seen a couple of things where some other people that I follow, whether they're artists or models even, or just people who take part of the creative process, who maybe are not necessarily completely an artist, a painter, or something like that, but maybe post other things or have posted other things in the past. I've seen a model say, hey, I'm going to dedicate my timeline strictly to what's happening right now to bring attention to the injustices. I'm not going to post anything personal. And I've seen one where it wasn't outright, but it was a little bit of shaming to where it was like, hey, man, there are other things in the world today. Don't be so blind, or something like that. To where, I start to get a little self-conscious on this. Like, what should I post? If I start posting my work as if it was another regular day, I'm afraid of backlash. I'm afraid of being accused of being, at worst, insensitive, and probably at best indifferent to what's happening in the world today. And, as an artist, or someone that claims to be an artist, or someone who has artistic tendencies, Do you want to be known as that person that didn't add on to the mountain of rhetoric already out there? And unfortunately, that's my point of view right now. I don't, and it has something to do with something I just ranted and raved about a second ago, but it's not that I don't care about what's going on. And it's definitely not that I'm insensitive or indifferent as to what's happening. You know, quite the opposite, actually. And if anyone knows me personally, they know that's the real deal. But we keep posting the same shit, man. Every 2 years, this shit keeps happening over and over again. It seems like 2 or 3 years where an injustice is done, justice isn't served, riot, posts on social media, and repeat. You know, and the same shit happens over and over again. And if you're paying attention, and you have been for this entire time, you see that they're the same posts over and over again. Hey, let's all stick together. Let's do this. And, you know, these should remind you. And it's like somebody posts Black Lives Matter. Somebody else posts all lives matter. White privilege. Martin Luther King. Malcolm X. No justice, no peace. By any means necessary. And someone always shitting on the president, no matter who it is. Everyone's working on their conspiracy theories. Everyone's throwing out fucking crazy stats. And the term bad apples keeps coming up over and over again. To where the rhetoric is just the same and it hasn't changed. And I'm disillusioned by the whole thing. You know, what am I going to add to this? I've posted a couple of things, but I've never accused anybody of anything. They're mostly observations and questions, but at the same time, I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty of this. I'm not posting and reposting the shit that happens on CNN. I'm not reposting anything that happens on Fox, because that shit doesn't serve a purpose to me. And it definitely doesn't help out my my creative process. And there's a certain vibe that it almost seems like that there's a necessity to post what's going on. And when I see other people posts, and I don't mean to accuse anyone, but it almost seems that this is happening so much that somebody is posting it just to be seen, not offering any other solution, because the rhetoric, again, is the same. It hasn't changed. So to me, it just means the same. It just means that someone is just posting something to be seen. Hey, this is what I found on CNN. This is what I found on Fox. This is what I found on the BBC. And this is what Martin Luther King quoted. This is what Malcolm X quoted. This is what the Dalai Lama is quoting. And it just seems it seems like we're going through the motions again. And there's a little part of me that feels guilty for not wanting to post anything, but I get over it real quick when the next tweet pops up. When the next person who's never said anything about anything since the last injustice pipes up again and says the same thing that they said the last time the shit happened. And during the whole time, there was no upkeep with the movement, if you will. I find that, it's, good deeds, good intentions, insert your favorite fucking quote there. But I don't know. I am conflicted. Yes, I want to do something. Just I'd like to say something on social media, but at the same time, I don't want my line to be all about that. There are a lot of people, of course, out there on the front lines protesting, not looting, not rioting, protesting. And here in Phoenix, it was very peculiar. A buddy of mine sent me a link because I'm staying away a little bit from the headlines and shit like that. I look at the headlines, but I'm not doing my due diligence right now and researching everything that's happening as far as the riots and the protesting and what small businesses are being affected and things like that. And somebody sent me a link to the news here in Phoenix, and the reporter stated something that I thought was very cool. She made it a point to say that there were protesters downtown, but they all dispersed and went home before the curfew. There's an 8 o'clock curfew here in Phoenix, and that she didn't use troublemakers, but I'll say the troublemakers decided to stay, cause trouble, and wanted to be arrested, it seems like. And the protesting peaceful people went, did their thing and want to be heard. And great, let's protest if you want to protest, and you should do some sort of symbolic gesture as far as to bring out the injustices out there. But even that in and of itself is like, how many protests do we need to go through? And it's just like, again, going back to the cliche posting that things that happens over and over again, something needs to change. So while I'm sure that there's a balance as to what I should post as far as social injustices out there in the world, out there in America, and, something that has to do with the creative process or artistic or funny, or even that has nothing to do with what's happening, I haven't really been comfortable in finding it. I want to post fucking Calvin and Hobbes, man. I want to retweet Kermit the Frog. That's what I like doing. I fucking awesome quote I went and I retweeted the day that I thought was awesome. Fucking Kermit the Frog was on Saturday Night Live, and the I forget that guy. I think it's Seth, the guy. He's got his own late night show now. I think his name is Seth. He used to do the news. He asks Kermit, what's the difference between being a puppet and being a Muppet? And he goes, well, puppets are controlled by people. I'm a real frog. And I think that fucking hilarious. I have my thing with Muppets, man. I think that they're real people. I really do. There's you got to understand something. There was I forget this Muppet's name, but Sesame Street posts out the once in a while that says, if I think the Muppet's name is shit. I'll forget the Muppet's name, but he's not one of the super famous Muppets, but he's one that's we've grown up with. And again, hey, Sesame Street is one of the reasons I'm here today. They taught me how to count, how to fucking speak English, and a bunch of other great things about living in a trash can. But it dawned on me that Sesame Street is the message was that to the adults, to the parents, that hey, it's okay if you didn't do something today. Take a deep breath. You don't have to get everything done, And I thought that it dawned on me that it's hilarious that, at least for someone like me, who's been watching or been conscious of watching Sesame Street since I was 4, that Sesame Street has been telling me to calm down, has always been teaching me something since I was 4 years old, even to today. And I loved it. I thought that was awesome. I fucking love Muppets. They are real people. But again, it was one of these things where like, man, I think I retweeted that one. I didn't retweet the Kermit one. And even on the other page that I have, I'm like, dude, I like posting a lot, but I'm like, man, when do I actually post? And then you look at it, and the reason I even brought this up is because it seems like I'm not the only one that feels this way, and there are some of you out there that are all about it, that are political. I see you, Patty. I see you. You've been on this since day one, and she's been preaching this thing since always, and this is this is her thing, and it's always been her thing about rights, specifically the Chicano movement, and the POC movement, if you will. But the it does seem like I'm not the only one that has that. All of a sudden, is using their platform, or that feels guilty about. I wouldn't say feel guilty because obviously I don't know what people feel like. But it always seems like there's a couple artists that have switched over to 100% dealing with the social injustices that are happening right now, and there are a couple artists as well that have posted nothing about the what's going on in the world today. And it's not that I don't think that that's bad. It's just that there's a certain boldness that I appreciate with that, And I don't know. It's just like it's it's anxiety that I shouldn't be feeling, but at the same time, that's nothing compared to the fucking people that are out there fucking doing their thing and protesting and are on the front lines of feeling the injustices of America, And I didn't want to be all downer on this, but I just wanted to see what all four of you that listen to this fucking thing, what you guys thought about it. How you guys deal with it, or if it's even something that you should, maybe I'm completely overthinking it and then just seeing shit happen out there that is not even happening. Yes, as an artist, I think that there needs to be some sort of social consciousness, but I don't think like Picasso wasn't always fucking painting war murals, and neither Diego Rivera's didn't fucking always post political communist shit all the time either. So, I must be nice being Jackson Pollock every once in a while and just fucking splattering paint around, right? All right, man. That's just. I just wanted to come on and ramble on that a little bit and see if there's anybody out there that wanted to just chime in with some suggestions, or hey, even if you just have comments about whatever you want to get it out, we'll I'll either read it on the next episode or have you jump on if you want. All right. Well, thank you again so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And hey, keep your head on a swivel out there, wash your hands, and enjoy your youth.